guys, welcome back to the shop. As you can tell, videos have been kind of few and far between here lately. I've been making slow progress on the 13. I just haven't had as much time as I would like in the shop. It seems to be that every time I actually have a chance to be down in the shop and play around with it, I have something else that comes up, either household, normal stuff I need to do around the house, or family commitments. So I really haven't had the time that I wanted to devote to getting the lathe back together, but we have made some progress. Also, I was waiting and searching eBay almost every day for a decent drive solution to power the lathe. So obviously I wanted to go with the VFD. I just wanted to find a decent price one. So I was able to stalk eBay for a while, and I found this Lens 1 horse 208 volt single phase input VFD, and these usually cost around 245 bucks. Was able to pick it up for 100 bucks. So that's going to be a drive solution for a lathe. I just got to get the motor mounted, and I also need some belts. So that's the next thing on order, is I have the drive belts on order for that. The other thing is too, my computer took a giant dump. So it was an older PC that I built. It's probably 7 years old. And it kind of finally gave up the ghost. So I did lose some footage, so I've been slowly trying to get that back, and I got 90% of the footage back. I've lost a few files here and there, nothing of supreme importance, but I've gotten most of it back. I had to build a whole new PC, which was one of those cost things that you're not really expecting to, but I had to wait for some new components to come in, and actually for some new components to be released onto the market. I wanted a specific processor and stuff anyway. So we're all back up with that now. One thing I do have to say is for my video editing, I use Coral Video Studio. It's cheap. The reason why I like it is it's pretty well robust. It's full featured, does everything that somebody like me would want. I mean, it's not crazy professional video editing software, but for what I'm doing, it's great. It's easy to learn, and it's relatively fast rendering. So I've had it for a while. I think they're up to version 10. I think I have version 7. So one problem with them, and I went through a nightmare with this, is when you pay for the full version, it's like 60 bucks or something like that, right? They give you a download link. And that download link only lasts for a certain amount of time, and then it disappears. Even though I still had the original email with that download link, that link is no longer valid. So when you download that stuff, you want to make sure that you save your installer files to your computer in case you ever have to reinstall the software. Save it to a CD, save it to a memory stick. Save yourself a lot of hassle, because trying to go through all their technical support stuff to get a new download link is like pulling teeth. Luckily, I got my old hard drive that took a complete crap. I got that working again, and I was able to find my installer files on that. Otherwise, I would have to pay 80 bucks probably to get the new upgraded version, because I couldn't download the version that I already had. So just be aware of that. If you go through them, like I said, software-wise, great. Customer service, not so much. So just be aware of that if you use that software. And I do recommend it for its features. Just like I said, be sure to save the installer file. Just a quick pro tip for you. So in this episode, we're going to show you putting together that gearbox, and I'm going to remake one shaft in there just because it's real easy to get at, and it's a real easy shaft. I'm going to replace that in that gearbox, get it all together, and then later on it'll be mounted to the lathe. So let's get to the good videos. Okay, so what we're going to be remaking is this little shaft here, and what this shaft is the one that holds the tumbler gear to the tumbler. The reason why we're remaking it is it does have some pitting on there and some visible wear, and it's a very, very simple shaft to make, and it is not going to mess with any of the alignment of anything else. It just holds the one gear on, doesn't go through the box or anything. So very, very simple shaft. These two little recesses here, reliefs, are just to make a nice square shoulder for the gear to hit up against here, and then for this whole shaft to hit up against the cast iron. So I made a little drawing of what we're doing here, and as far as critical dimensions,
The two critical dimensions we have here are the actual length here in this diameter here. This is the part that actually rotates. So this is the bearing surface, more or less. So the actual length of this and the diameter of this is critical, and the length of this little section and the diameter of this is critical too. It's a close fit to the gear, not necessarily press fit. It's maybe like a slight interference fit, and then the nut draws it up on here. The length of the thread doesn't much matter, and the length out here doesn't much matter, nor the diameter, just as long as we're lower than 1 inch. So what we really have to concentrate on to hit as well as we can is this number here, and these two lengths. So I already have a piece of stock in the chuck here. This is 1 1/8 stress-proof material. I didn't have any 1 inch lying around, so I'll be using this. Otherwise I would have used the 1 inch and we wouldn't have had to turn down the whole thing. But I'm going to get this squared in the forejaw here. Let me get you back out here. So this is eyeballed in there. Let me just pull the bolt gear pin. So I'm going to find the low, which is there. It's at 0, come up to high. So we're at 60. We're going to have that reading, which is 30. And that's set at 0. The next closest jaw, which is there. I'm going to bring that reading to 0, so we're low, so it has to come in to me. Helps if I get the right chuck key here, where to go. The other one. And bring those into 0. Okay, now just by doing that, we're within 5 or 6. So now you just do, there's the low, so we want to tighten this side. There's the low, tighten this side. Alright, there we go. We're within, I'd say about a half to just under 1. So that's plenty, more than good enough for what we're doing. So let's set up to turn this. Okay, so at 1 1/8, we got to take off 1/8 inch, 125 thousandths roughly. Again, that one measurement doesn't really matter, so we can just use caliper dimensions, not a big deal. So let's get going. Just face this off first. Alrighty. Alright, I'm going to throw a center in there. You know, you could probably get away without it, but I like to put centers in shafts that I'm doing or anything like that, just so you have it if you ever need it down the road. It takes you 2 seconds to do it. Okay. That's 100 thousandths. And there's 25. Okay, so I have my carriage indicator set up. So I just gotta go until that indicator reads 97, and I need to take this down to 747. 747. All right, so we have about 250 thousandths to come off here. So let's start. Actually, I'm gonna slow it down one. So go with 100. Seven 915. So let's take 40, and then we can start using the mic. And I'm gonna speed up. $751.5. Just gonna polish the machine marks out of there real quick. Just very lightly. And then a nice smooth surface. Okay. Okay, and we're back. So it's been a couple hours or so because I ate myself into a food coma. And we did shrink. We shrank down to we're 2/10 over where we want to be, but that should be plenty good. And the good thing is we can test. We're a little tight. Okay, so I want looser than that, and you can see I can see that we're hitting closer, or hitting more up against here a little bit. So I'm just going to polish right on this edge here, and then we should be able to fit it in there. Okay, let's test fit that. Okay, we're pretty good. You see we're hitting right there, just a hair. I'm gonna take just a little bit off of that, and then that should be good. Okay, that should be more than enough. Yeah, we fit on there nice. We're not binding. Okay, might just need to take just a little bit off this outside edge here. And I'm going to break that edge. There we go. That's a nice fit. Okay, so our next diameter here, let me consult the drawing, is going to be 686 thousandths, and that's going to be 817 thousandths up. So let me set up for that real quick. Now to set all this stuff up, I'm just using there's a dial indicator mounted to my carriage, and that's what I'm using to get my length of cut. So let me just set that up real quick and get the center back in place, and we can start doing that diameter. Alright, we're all set up for this next diameter here. Okay, and then our last diameter is going to be 1/2 inch for my thread, and that's going to be length of 385 thousandths. Okay, so I got to bring this here down to 1/2 inch for a length of 385 thousandths. This live center is in my way, so I have two options. I can either run without the live center and take that off. The only thing is I'm dangling out here a little bit further than what I actually want. My other option is we can just pot this off here, and then we can re-chuck up into this section here, so we only have a little bit sticking out. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to put in the potting tool here, and we're going to make our grooves while we're here for this section here and this section here. So there's going to be a groove here so we have a nice flat shoulder, and a groove here so we have a nice flat shoulder. And then we are going to be able to take this out and do our threads. I missed it. So there's our pin, and I'll just file that little pip off. That's not a big thing. And then I'm going to chuck on this end and indicate this end. Okay, so we got that chuck back up here. So we got to turn this down to a diameter 500 thousandths for a length, or just shy of for threads, for a length of 385 thousandths. I have my travel indicator set up here. Put the bull gear pin back in, that would help. There's our touch. We were, what, 686, so let's take 100. Okay, so now we're going to thread that. Okay, so here's the gear that's supposed to fit on there. We got a really nice fit. Really nice fit. Okay, so it's pretty much the same size, just about, and it fits on there really nice. We got to put a key in there. It's a 3/16 key. So I got to put the keyway in there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to find center of this shaft, and then we'll put the key in there. So, okay, so I have 0 set on this DRO here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the mill on, and I'm going to walk the end mill back and forth across this top slowly as I crank up the knee. Once that flat that I'm making is the same diameter as this end mill, then that's where I can start measuring the depth of my key from, or the key slot from. So turn it on, go right on top here, and like I said, I have 0 set. And that flat that I just made is about the same slot, same width as that end mill. So now we're going to measure our depth from there. I'm going to set 0 on my collar here. And we're going to go up. Good right there. Okay. Okay, so let's do a quick fit up of this. This arm still needs to be painted. Everything else is painted except for this. I just wanted to wait for painting it just to make sure I didn't have to do any kind of modifications for it, and I don't. So let's do a quick little test fit up here. So this is the one that we made. There will be a felt that goes in this groove when we get it actually all together. So fit in there good. And then this key. And then, Bob, you gotta put the gear on first there, smarty. There it is. Beautiful. So we fit in there nice, and once we get the wick in there, we'll be even smoother than that. So